Welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy, and today I am going to do a flip through of this journal that I made, and I did this as a part of the September Stashbuster Junk Journal Challenge with Dear Julie, and I will have her and her information linked below. And wasn't sure I was going to get this done, and then I just went on a mad crunch the past couple of days because I found out I'll be gone for the next 2 days and it has to be done by the 30th, and so I didn't think I was going to get finished, so I was so excited when I actually got this finished this morning. And I am calling this journal Autumn Floral. Pretty simple. I used lots and lots of different digitals from Dear Julie, plus a few of my own, and lots of ephemera and other things went into the making of this. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to move this over to the side for just a moment. This was a mini challenge in the challenge, and it's a flip-flop book. Flip-flop, what did she call it? It's a flip-flop something. It's a flip-flop booklet, that's what it was. And we made these using what she calls a 6-pack. I actually used one of the tag pages, which is 3 panels side by side. And it just opens up like this. Now, I'll start out with the cover. I used an embossed frame. I put packing tape on the back side of it, and then I filled it with glossy accents, and I pressed this little felt flower right into the center of it. After it was all dry and settled, I glued it over the 2 birds, and I thought that that looked really cute, especially when you put this ribbon over there. It looks adorable, I think. Almost like a Valentine. I don't know. An avian Valentine? That could be a scary thing for some people. All right, on to the flip through, because this is going to be long anyway, and I'm going to try not to talk so much. This first little page, well, they're all little because it's a mini journal, and there we go. I just couldn't get a hold of it because I'm sitting down and I'm at a weird angle sitting at my table. Got just a journaling card tucked into that pocket, and I am going to put all of the things back into this as I take them out. Just got some collaging there. We used a bunch of scrap pieces of paper to make this, and so I filled each of the pockets that I created with a simple journaling card. This is coffee dyed paper. This is some planning paper that I also included in the other journal. I used some liquid pearls for a little accent on this card. I think I backed everything pretty much on this yellow parchment paper. Here I have a pocket, and inside the pocket I have this journaling card. And I just used a punch from some sheet music and a punch from some scrap paper to create that little keeper. There's a flinch card from one of Dear Julie's kits, and this is also from one of her kits. It's either from a kit or from a freebie. It might have been a Friday freebie. Here's another piece of that scrap paper that was torn at, or that I tore at an angle. Little journaling card in there. I think I was pinching the card when I was trying to take it out, because I know that it came in and out better than that. Right, and then this is the end of the first part of the journal, and in that pocket I have this journaling card with just a little bit of lace doily that I've been cutting up and using. I have to turn it sideways so I can see where things go in. And I'm still having trouble. Oh, because I missed it. Okay. It helps if you put it in the right way. All right, and then that closes, and then you've got the back cover. and this is just collaged. I had to cover up the upside down image from using the triple or the tag page, and that's just collaged on book page. And this is an image from Dear Julie Julie. And here in this pocket I have, I think I have a folded note card. Yes, I have a little poem from the book that I used to make the main journal, that I just added a couple of pieces of those. I think I have another one in here somewhere. Little journaling card. This was a misprint, but I still think it turned out pretty, with some lace for a tab stapled onto the top. I folded this one over and tucked in this journaling card. Those are both Dear Julie Julie. Those are both Dear Julie Julie digitals, and a piece of the ledger. And again, it's on that parchment paper. And I could have folded it like that, but I kind of liked it folded like that. Here I have a paper clip that I forgot to count in my final tally. An altered paper clip, but that's okay. I had enough. And this has a pocket here where I've just collaged front and back on this one. This is a magazine image. And then just a little journaling card in that little tuck. And this paper clip goes right on there. And this is digital paper and mulberry paper and fabric tape. Again, with the flap and the fold. This one has this small journaling card. And this was odd. When I went to ink this, I dropped my ink pad and it kind of made a mess, and so I spritzed it just a little bit, thinking I could move the ink around. Well, I spritzed it too much, and it went right through the paper, and I still think it looks pretty cool, so I dried it and tucked it inside there. Here's a postcard from the digital kit. And then there's the back of the first part. And I just slide this bow on and off. It's pretty easy, and it was a scrap of ribbon, so it's not like I had a lot of control over how how much room I had to tie it. And so I think I've got it twisted though. And so I just slide it on and off like that. That's what I would suggest you do too. And there we go. There's that part of it. Now to go through the journal. And as usual, I'm going to put all the accessories over to the side so you can see what it looks like when it's not chock full. I mean, this puppy's stuffed. It is stuffed. And it measures the cover itself. Let's just measure the cover itself. The original cover is 5.5 by, oh, you know what? I'm just going to get a ruler. All right, so the original cover measures 6, I was close, 6 by 4. And I'm going to say that this side measures about 1¼ inches. This side with all the stuffings is almost 3. That's kind of ridiculous, but I just really think that that's how almost all of my journals end up being, is a little ridiculous. So you can see the cover. I have used a doily, a crocheted doily right here, and some more pieces of that other doily that I used right here. And it looks pretty simple and straightforward, doesn't it? But it's not. So first thing we're going to do, I'm going to slide this out, and it's just a couple of journaling cards that I added to the front. And then I'm going to slide this out. This I think I'm just kind of tickled about, because this looks like my original book looked. I will stick a picture in right here so that you can see it. And I tried to do that on purpose because I copied the inside of the book specifically for this little quote here. And I'll put another picture in so that you can read it just a little easier than this. Then I took some of my mini composition books that I had dyed with coffee, I think, and I sewed them together on the sewing machine. And then I fastened them into this photocopy of the book cover with some fabric tape and a little bit of glue. And I just have different papers that I dyed that are lace and leaves and just beautiful grunginess. And there's where I sewed, but this one also still had the threads from the composition book, so it still looks kind of aged and old and coffee dyed. I got quite a kick out of that one. All right, now we're ready to untie the ribbons. Are you ready? Here we go. This is some leftover seam binding lace. And I really don't have any idea where it came from. As part of the challenge, we were to make what Julie calls panel cards, or cover panel cards, that's what it was. And so this is one of my cover panel cards, and when I started this book, I opened it up and somebody had glued the title page together to the facing page, and I don't know why. And I tried my best to sort them out and split them and try to get it in one piece, and it just came up in a bunch of pieces. And I will link to my preliminary video showing you that part. And I tried to piece together what I could, and I have part of the title page here, and it is on a tissue box, a piece from a tissue box. And then I took some tracing paper and I put that over it, thinking that you would still be able to see through it. And you can see by John Brown MD, and you can see the little star thing down here, and you can see his part of his friends, because I couldn't get all of that rescued, and other sketches. And then Rab, which is the name of it. And if you look through here, you can see that is Rab and his friends. So I used that, and then I put it onto another piece of, what did I put that on? A piece of, I think it was it's a piece of Tim Holtz paper, scrap paper. And I stitched around it after I added some fabric and a piece of scrap paper and one of the digitals from Julie. And in order to make this part of the cover, I glued this lace between the doily and this cover plate, and then put another cover plate on the back side of that. And this has a scrap of embossed paper and some old sheet, and it actually will work as a pocket. I should probably grab something to show. Although I think I filled all the pockets except for this one. There you have a pocket, and there is a pocket. And I will put my business card in the front whenever I list it, and probably a from the library of card. And this is the original cover of the book. And there's the one I made. I think it turned out pretty cute. All right, and then let's go ahead and go to the back cover, because it was created in the same manner. I used two more of the cover plates. This one's a paint chip and another little quote from the book, some napkin applique, a piece of scrap vellum and a piece of scrap sari silk, and I sewed that on there. And then on the back side of this one, I used an actual library card pocket, and I stenciled on it. I've got some napkin applique on there, another quote poem from the book, and I've got an actual library catalog card, Showers of Blessing, and this is vintage, and I stamped on it with my stencil and added a couple of other things. That's a magazine image. This says Sunrise, and then on the back a little bit more collage. And let's see, I'm going to leave that one in there. I'll take everything else out. And then here's the back cover. And again, you can see how similar that is. I just had a little fun with that. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, how I was going to do this, because one of the things you had to do was an embellished cover, and I didn't want to cover up my cover. So I didn't. I made another cover. And this is actually stitched in. This doily, this gray doily, is actually stitched in with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. All right, so let's actually open the journal. How about that? And I did recover the inside, like I said. This was the inside of it. And so I copied this, but I covered it for the journal. It's 2 signatures, and I think that there's about 100 pages in here, I think. Somewhere between 90 and 100 pages. Here, this little bulldog clip is holding on this, what did I call it? A fancy fold. I like to put stationery type pieces into my journals. And so this tag here is actually holding this whole process closed. And you'll see why in a minute. This tag is actually a swivel tag, so you can write on the inside of either side. And there's the top with the brad. In this first pocket, got an index card. Yes. Napkin decoupage, liquid pearls, and some fabric tape. And I'm probably not going to describe every single thing, or this will be a 3-hour-long video. But I will describe what needs to be described. This flips up. We've got another pocket here. And this is one of my altered guest checks. And then this flips down. We've got another pocket here with another altered guest check. And that's on a piece of Tim Holtz packaging. And then this whole thing flips open. It's just a sheet of paper that you can use for writing. And then when you add everything back in, I think I will link this video. I will go ahead and put it back together, but I will link the video of how I made it. And you can watch the whole process, because I don't think I had all the decorating and I did not have the stuffings. I had the piece of stationery and I had the swivel tag. All right, there's that. Got a piece of sheet music here that has a pocket, and inside the pocket, got this little notepad. This is paper from an old scrapbook, very old scrapbook. There's a little cluster there just for decoration. Here is a bookmark, and I made it so that it will fit over the top of the page. This is from Actual Ledger, and it says see page, whoops, it says see page 95 for 1911 deposits. That's old Ledger. Some book page, little pocket here with a tag. This is packaging from some place where I like to order things on Etsy. She uses this paper, and I've kept it every time, and I can't remember who it's from, and I can't find that paper, but I like it. This is one of my digitals that I used for this particular thing. This was a flip-flop with a flap. This was one of the cover cards. And then my flip-flop is right here. I've got another of the quotes from the page. And that opens, or flips, and that flips, and then that flips. And this is an envelope with just a few pieces of scrapbook paper, and I'm going to leave that in there as well. And here's a piece of the ledger. This is a belly band with a mystery. So here is another piece of stationery that I made out of a Dear Julie digital. I collaged on it here and added a stamp and a stamp. And then some stamping on the inside as well. And the mystery for this, now this is a real feather. This is a blue jay feather I found in my backyard. So I've got some blue lace, and it matches the blue that's in this scrap of digital. I'm not even sure. This came from the book, and then a real stamp and a piece of book page. This actually flips open for more writing space. That's the mystery about that part. And it creates a tab on this back side of the page. This is a magazine image that I've got on a book page, another book page that was a book all about roses. And so I added some roses in here, some red roses. And here in the first signature, I've just tied on some old vintage silverish beads. I don't know where I got them. I think it was a necklace that I got from Goodwill or something. Up here I have a paper clip that is holding on, or holding this together, because it is a top pocket that I've stamped, but then this also folds down for more writing space, and I've used ledger paper there. And then that pretty bird forms the pocket. I'm going to put this, I don't think I have to put that back on. I'll put it on here. That works. Here I have another one of my collages, and I just added it to the tab. There's two tabs like this. They're both from packaging. And then I've got a bulb pin here with a couple of old buttons and some really old fake pearls on them. Here I will post, I have a playlist for everything that I made a video for the making of for this journal. And this was one of the things in the playlist. On the back side of this paper clip is an envelope. And the envelope actually opens up, and I have some little pieces in there for whomever receives this journal. And then here is my flippin' postcards, because that flips open, and then that one flips open, and then that one flips open. And you can write on the back of that one as well. Over here is another altered paper clip, and it's also got ledger. Used ledger on it. And it's just holding this card right here tucked into that folded over piece of the ledger. I've reinforced the fold with some washi tape because it's old. And on this card, I've got the napkin decoupage and just a little collage here, and some splatters from a marker, and a little bit, another piece of the embossed paper. But this is one of the hidden journaling cards. That just slides right in there. There you go. And then an old piece of trim. Here I have a double tuck. I have a video on this one as well with 2 journaling cards included in it. And on the other side is the envelope. Inside the envelope is a tag that I made. This was a tag that came in something I purchased with a handwritten note. And so I just layered on a piece of paper bag and some gift wrap tissue and did a stencil stamp on the back side. Well, on that side too. Here's my fabric pocket. It's fabric and lace, and I've got a little pin with a little ruffle made of the old bed sheet, and just a simple journaling card in that pocket. Another piece of that really old book page. And this little pocket here that's holding little ephemera, ice coupon tickets, and the eggs and stuff. But also this paper clip is glued in there, but you can open up this little envelope and there's just a little tiny bit of writing space inside of it. Here I added something on the back side, so that's a little tight now, and it wasn't tight before. This is one of my tags with a job, and it just opens up, and I did not put anything in that pocket. There, well, actually, I'll just leave that in there. That works. You get a tag to work with in that pocket. Oh, I didn't have anything else. I wonder why. I don't know. Here is where the doily for the cover is sewn on, and I've got those beads there. Got a little cluster up here that actually holds this guest check, this altered guest check. And I have a collage of fabric tapes and a piece of ribbon and a piece of a gift bag. A little tab up here of fabric tape. And then this is also a vellum pocket with a tag inside of it. Here's the other tab that's from packaging, and I added some ledger and some splatter and an old scrap from the edge of a piece of lace. Here's another of my altered guest checks, and I glued it to an envelope that I had stamped and then I stamped with my rose stamp on this and added a piece of fabric tape to the envelope. And inside the envelope is this little card that is napkin decoupaged and a Tim Holtz saying and liquid pearls, but it also is a hidden journaling card. And then tucked under the flap here is a bookmark, and I just collaged a whole bunch of pieces. This was one of the last things that I made. Collaged it, and then I splattered it with my green Spectrum Noir marker. Here's that planning sheet that feels kind of waxy, but it's not waxed. I don't know what it is really. Here is door after door after door. I think there's 3 doors in the title. I have an altered paper clip on here that's made from book page and a Dear Julie Julie digital and some fabric tape, and some washi tape back here. And the door after door actually opens and opens and opens and opens. And I used digitals. This was a leftover unused digital that was the wrong color for this journal. And so I took my colored pencils, and instead of having a white rose, I made it into a dark pink reddish rose. I added real postage stamps on each of these except for the smallest one. And I've got some washi tape that's helping to create the hinge. Open that up, and here's a little bird and another pocket. I'm not putting anything in this one right now. If I come up with something later, I will. But there's a little pocket. And then this opens up and flips out, and there's a little napkin decoupage there. I've got a collage down here, and that flips down. And then this one flips up, and then you've got this one for writing. Oops, it's upside down and backwards. Oh, and I didn't show you the back. There's the back. This is from an old book, and I tore off the top part, and the paper, I just liked it, and I put it in there just a little wonky on purpose. Here is my double pocket edge. I can't remember, something like that. And I've got this little journaling card made of an index card that I've just glued some things on and done the stencil stamp. I love my little safety pin here. I like safety pins. I've been using them a lot in journals lately. Here's the other side of that, and it's got 2 pockets. Another of the book pages. And then here, I've got a collage on top of this fabric flip of lace and a metal washer that I found on the ground, and another feather from my yard, and the color selvage edge from some fabric. And I'm holding this down with this Tim Holtz tiny bulldog clip. Underneath the fabric is a waterfall, and this is one of my digitals, and that one's actually glued down. Pull this back down, and that washer on there helps to keep this where it's supposed to be, but I do the bulldog clip just for a little extra security. Here is a tag that I made that I didn't think I was going to do this, but I ended up doing it. And I glued the keeper to the page. And this has "to fly it to your heart." That's one of the Tim Holtz things. And this is actually a waterfall. And I used some Happy Planner stickers and some liquid pearls on each of those. And then I collaged down here. And I've got a guest check that I wrapped around the, what was this? This was some kind of packaging. I ended up covering up the holes because I wasn't going to tie anything to the top. So this was from packaging, and then I just collaged all over the packaging. And then this is one of my tabs that was a requirement that I collaged onto. And it slides right up under there. There we go. I knew it did. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 marked on there. And I'm actually going to leave that one in there, I think. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. This was a tricky one. This was a double corner tuck with a mystery. So I collaged on my corner tuck. This is scrapbook paper. I used a line from the book and Tim Holtz and another piece of that vellum. I've got some old calendar page. This is the notes part of it that I made a little semi-flip, I guess. I did the stencil stamp and the fabric and inking. And that tucks into this little pocket and into the first pocket. And then the second pocket has this card in it, which I like that pattern a lot. And then the back pocket has the music for Far Away. And then here's the mystery. This has a little tuck, that little corner tucks behind, and now you've got writing space here and writing space here. These are the pockets that these cards were in. Because that one goes in there like that. That one goes in there like that. Because it opens up, if I didn't have those on there, they wouldn't stay in the pockets, right? I may put a little bit of washi tape on that, washi fabric on there to strengthen that though, because that's not a lot holding it together. So I'm probably going to take care of that. I will take care of that, not probably. And then that just slides right up and under. Just like that. Looks like a double tuck. I hope that counts. Here is an altered paper clip that is on this folded end of the planning paper, and it's holding in this altered guest check, and I just collaged on it with some digital and a piece of mulberry paper and some seam binding and a piece of fabric, and I sewed on it, and then there's another digital on the back. And then this has some parchment paper in it, and then baking parchment paper along with the other parchment paper, along with the digital and the liquid pearls. Here's another collage right here. We're almost done. I think this is the one where I thought I was stuck something else under it. So I used another of those. I don't know what those are called, but they're Tim Holtz. And this flips open, and that's some fabric tape. I've got one of my collages right here on the flap of this envelope. And that opens up, and this flips down, and in this envelope I've got a few little pieces, but it also flips down and flips open and flips open, and you've got all this writing space. And then it just closes back up, just like that. And then that closes, and then this one flips open as well. And I've just got a journaling card tucked in there. And that's what the paper clip was helping hold in. Not the paper clip. It's a paper clip. It's a something. It's a this. It's that thing. And then here, well, it's only holding it in if I've got it up there at the time. Here is one of the things that was in the required pieces, and it's a full 8.5 by 11 inch page, and it folds, let's see, this folds down, there's writing space, that folds up, and I've got a piece of a guest check there. Here's a piece of ledger here that I've stamped, and then this folds out, there's the rest of the guest check, and then this folds over like that. Now you don't actually have 8.5 inches by 11 inches of writing space because you're minus this part that's glued to the page, but this forms a pocket down here, and I included the dedication page from the book. It says, "To my two friends at Busby Renfrewshire, in remembrance of a journey from Carstairs Junction to Toledo and back." And I thought that would be a nice little thing to tuck into the journal, since it was made from that original book. All right, and so that goes that way, that goes that way. That's that, that's that. And then this little tiny bulldog clip helps to hold the whole shebang closed. I actually didn't have as big a pile of inclusions as I normally do. Because most of it was glued into the journal, but it closes down pretty well. It closes down pretty well. I think this turned out just lovely. I don't know. I don't know where my head was, because I was convinced that I was going to fail this particular challenge, because it's actually been a while since I have completed one of Julie's challenges. And I'm pretty stinking happy with how it turned out. What was your favorite part? What did you like the best? What would you have done differently? I always welcome advice. Thank you for joining me today. And as always, be kind. Bye.